Good morning. I thought I would shoot a quick video of some projects I'm working on. These two shorebirds, which I'm going to seal some of the texturing. I've gone back and improved the birds a little bit, and I've got to seal the wood, so I will paint them afterwards. So I want to demonstrate sealing, as well as this carved driftwood piece. This life-size wood duck is carved in bark, and it is flying out of this piece of wood, literally. I had a lot of fun with it. I pieced works together. I think it's one of my largest bark carvings, and it'll hang on the wall. So I'll demonstrate how I kind of show it. It's going to be emerging like this. But I need to paint a little hidden some glue, where I glued some of the bark on here, and I need to put a little oil on it as well to darken some of the bark, because the base is very dark oak. So stay tuned, and you can learn some of my tricks here. I'm going to do a real quick painting. I always dip my brush in water first with acrylics. I got some tubes right out of some colors right out of the tube, just different browns and earth tones, raw sienna, chestnut. So I'm trying to kind of blend in the darks of the wood duck's body, which has blues and greens in it. I painted all the colors of a wood duck, which is a lot of colors. This is a beautiful North American duck, which I used to have in my aviary growing up as a teenager and throughout my 20s. So I'm very familiar with this bird. It's a beautiful bird, hard to kind of capture because they can really change their attitude with that crest, and their colors can look very unreal. So much iridescence and different colors in there. And I put them in there, but subdued them. You have to see them in good light. We're getting some backlight now, so I'll move the camera around a little bit. But I think you can see this, the painting here. Let me take a look here so you can see what I'm doing. I think it's okay for now. Try to move it back here. So here's the back of the bird. Maybe give you a close-up here of it. Okay, so you can see that bare area right here. So in matching colors, it's a bit of a challenge sometimes. You look at the value, that's the relative darkness, which this is very dark, but this bark is lighter. Actually, I want it darker, so I will oil it. But I want an in-between color, some browns, even some blues or greens in there, fading to some raw sienna. Now, I only have one brush, and I gotta work quickly. I've got some already made browns here, and already some, let's see, some kind of blue dark colors here. So I'm going to start light and then go dark and work very quickly. So first, again, I dip my brush in water, and I am going to just do one shot here. Try to paint, let's see, I'll paint underside first. And that raw sienna kind of matches the bark color. And this is glue I'm painting over. I use strong adhesives. In this case, it's Gorilla Glue, the great glue that expands, works really well. So there I put some raw sienna down. Now I'm going to mix some darker brown. This is more like chestnut with a little bit of black. So this is wet blending. Blending it before it dries, before one color dries, and just using the same brush. Preferably I would have 3 brushes, 2 brushes of different color, and the third brush I would be stipple blending. But I don't have that kind of time right now. This is just a quick video, and this is just a quick touch-up. Okay, now I'm going to put some darker blues and even greens in there, because the wood duck has that color. Oh, that's coming out really vivid. Now acrylics dry darker than they appear initially. Well, it's hard to get under here. Okay, so there's the touch up of the grain. Let me cover these up because it's drying fast. Let's see. Yeah, I need just a little bit more brown on the body. Cover some little glue marks that got on the bark. This is the underside of the bird. So that's wet blending. Just some little tricks there. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I try to get it right. Now I need some black actually, just for some emphasize, some contrast. And don't exactly got it. I've got some very dark Prussian blue, and sometimes those colors are better than straight black because black can feel too harsh. Although I do have black in here, there are lots of blues and greens. But we're getting some strong backlighting now. The sun's coming out this morning. It's a hot day here. Okay, so let me demonstrate oiling it now so I can darken up some of this bark. It's sanded, okay, about 600 grit. I didn't have to get it that smooth, but I kind of polished it by sanding it that fine. And now I'll use a little bit of oil. I'm going to use some Danish oil. Let's see if you can see that close up here real quick. Here's what I just did. Painted the back of the wing. Okay, you can see that. The transition. It's not quite perfect. I'm going to wait for it to dry, probably do another coat. There's the wood duck coming out. Now let's add some oil over it. So I'm going to stand up and show you the whole piece. I'm going to use this Danish oil. I've demonstrated this before, but you can see how I'm going to work with value and how I'm going to get things right. And then last I'll show you how I seal my shorebirds. So I don't need much oil here, I don't think. I'm not even going to wear rubber gloves. Just do a really quick finish here. Let's make sure you can see that okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had to darken this bark up before I got the color exactly right. I want it a little bit darker because this base is oak and that's very dark. So all these pieces need to be darkened a little bit, especially this end grain. I'll leave parts of the bark natural, but I carved all these pieces to kind of fit. And you can see it looks like the bird, I mean these aren't real wings, it's just driftwood, so it's very subjective that the bird's coming out of the piece of wood, or flying out of a piece of wood, that is, because wood ducks nest in tree cavities, nest in holes. So it's an imaginative piece. Now this is not accepting oil super penetration because I waxed it first. I was hoping that would be enough, but it wasn't. Now I oiled this color, I let some of the natural bark show through, and that actually is very close to the breast of a real wood duck, color-wise. Okay, so you can see how that's darkening up. I'll give you some close-ups and move the camera around a little bit here. Yeah, this is looking much better with the bark being darker. Wax was not quite enough to penetrate it and make it dark because the base is really dark and it was too much contrast. And the wood duck has a nice focal point because of the white in the bill and the colors. It's much lighter. Yeah, one thing I learned making sculpture over the years, everything takes longer than you think it's going to. This is going to be just a real quick video, but you know, in order to get it right, it's just a matter of putting things on and looking at it, and I'm looking at it and saying the more oil I put on it, the more it ties in with this oak. And I've already oiled the oak and polished it. But all that time and attention to detail and reworking finishes it improves the works. You get better contrast. So I'm looking at contrast as well as harmonizing the piece. I want unity of the value, so it's not too much contrast, it looks natural. I'm going to put this down and show you a different angle. Now the light's hitting it real good here. And I'm actually, let's see, I'm going to add some, so you can see how lighter it is there and then darker there. I'm going to add oil here. I'm running out of the oil here. I fluted this bark a little bit, it made it really interpretive, like it's wings of the bird. But I just didn't want to make it literal. The head is already very literal, and everything else is kind of blending into the base. And I like that kind of interpretive, emerging style. And a lot of my birds are emerging from the pieces of wood they're carved from, or struggling to get away from the material they were carved from, like Michelangelo's bound slaves. Although I pieced this piece together, this is bark from a cottonwood tree from out west in Montana, and I bought it. The trees die, and these standing trees are quite huge, and they're debarked, and the bark is great for wood carving. It takes great detail, it's easy to carve, it's beautiful grain. Look at that grain pattern, how fine that is. Okay, you can see some of the bark through the wood duck. It's a challenging bird to paint. I did it in a day though, because it's just the head, and this is just an interpretive style. This is not my most realistic work. It's kind of a combination of different styles. You may call it impressionism to abstract, because these wings are not, they're very, very abstract. There's a reference to reality, but they're okay. So that's the wood duck, and I think it looks much better there. Take a look at it coming out of there from the top view. Can't hang it on the wall because I'm outside right now. I don't like to have the oils, the fumes in my house, the odors, I mean. Okay, last but not least, I've got wood ducks, and speaking of which, I use a mask for this. I'm going to use, I'm sorry, these are the little plovers, little shorebirds, and I'm going to just put a little sealer on the bottom of them. Now in this piece here, I'm letting that oil soak in. I may add a second coat, and then I will use a cloth and wipe the rest away. So I'll show you the finished piece hanging on the wall shortly. Let's go to the shorebirds now. Okay, that's the stuff I'm going to use, the clear wood finish. Let's get a close-up of these guys. Let's see, get a little bit closer so you can see them. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to put a little more, just to the back of the birds. I finally wood burn them. You can see the detail, and I'm just going to add sealer to the very back of them. However, I'm going to wear a mask for this, so it'll be real quick. And I appreciate your support and following me. Thanks very much, and stay tuned if you want to watch me seal it here, because I got to wear a mask. So thanks again for subscribing, and hope you have a great day.